Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, Secretary Rivera. My questions are going to center around the pension funding. The contribution this year is going to be about $175 billion for the state's portion of PSERS. And we know that education is highly labor intensive. The cost of the salaries and benefits make up a large portion of our school district's budgets, roughly probably between 70 and 75%. The governor's proposal pulls that out of the Department of Education. Can you explain how this funding benefits the schools and teachers, and do you believe it should be included in the education funding or should be pulled out separately, and why?
Thank you for the question. I think you're, so I know you're right in terms of our, pension obligation is a large obligation. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't share, because I've been having this conversation around pensions in many different, venues to share. And, I think it's important as the Department of Education to start off by saying this is, PSERS or the pension issue isn't just a teacher issue. This is a Commonwealth public employees issue, and it's something that we absolutely have to all address, together. So specifically to answer your question, I applaud the governor's, move and desire to remove the pension line item from the Department of Ed or from the education budget and moving it into its own restricted line item probably for one practical reason. And it was the conversation we started this morning sharing. When a legislature shares, or when anyone shares, that more money has been put into education over the past 4 years than a few years than ever before, they're right. Lots of money has been put in education, but the majority, if not all, and then a little, of the funding that's been put in education has gone to cover the pension obligation. Yeah, the pensions, if I can just jump in, are part of having the teacher in the classroom. That is part of the salary and compensation. Is defined and is a defined benefit, for public employees. So I would share what the governor has done when he's saying he's investing $1 billion into education, is ensuring that the $1 billion in education he's investing is going directly into the classroom.
So is there going directly into the classroom in the form of salary increases, or the form of other items?
The governor's been specific in saying the increase, other than the 1.9% that he's allowing for some flexibility, the Act 1 index that he's allowing flexibility in classrooms, is to go to proven programs that support student learning with measurable outcomes. So if you look at the governor's proposal, it's specific to the increase has to go directly to support kids, not to support adults.
Okay, let me ask the other question then. If we feel this way about education, then how come we haven't done this in DPW and pulled those out of those line items so that when we fund our state centers for people with intellectual disabilities, they get more money? Why did we just signal this into education and not the other areas of the budget?
Well, I can share that being the acting Secretary of Education, I can speak on behalf of the education expenditure. I'm sure Acting Secretary Dallas will have an opinion as to DHS and how it's being spent. Specifically, what I've researched around, what we've advocated for, what we've aligned our budget to, was ensuring that we provide quality programming for children and ensure that the funding we're making available to our school districts do best to improve the quality of life for Pennsylvania students.
Well, I thank you for the answer, and I'm just going to have one quick comment here, Mr. Chairman. We can all argue about where the money should be, but at the end of the day, education funding and having that teacher in the classroom, like any other business across this Commonwealth, the pension benefits, whether it's defined contribution or defined benefit, is part of that compensation package for instruction in that classroom. And therefore, it's my belief, as it would be any business's belief when they build their costing model, to make sure that they're including all of their employee benefits in there, the health care. We've left the Social Security in there. We've left everything else in there. And we've just singled out this one line item. And I think that if we really want to be honest with ourselves, that should be included as part of having the teacher in the classroom. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.